We are here in good old Kansas City. I love this place where the National Women's Soccer League Championship game, have we mentioned, is happening tomorrow. So who better to talk to this about this awesome sports moment than the city's mayor? His name is Quinton Lucas. Very popular here. He's in his second term as mayor of Kansas City. Was born and raised right here. So you know, Mr. Mayor, what this match means for your city.
This is an exciting day, but even a bigger time for Kansas City.
Yeah.
We opened up this stadium back in the spring. We have had great visitors, energy, sellouts again and again. And in a city that's known for our American football lately, I've been excited about women's soccer, women's sports, and how everybody has just supported it so much.
Oh, yeah. You got that football team, too. Yeah. So we're going to talk about the soccer in just a second, but first we want to address the Democratic issues. Democrats didn't do so well in this last election, as you know, and you wrote an op-ed in the Kansas City Star. I remember that paper. I used to work here back in the day, so I love this city. You said this, your op-ed, Democrats win on the issues, Donald Trump won on the message. What did you mean by that?
You know, I think when you look at President-elect Trump's message, there was clarity to it. I disagreed significantly with it, but you understood what he was talking about, whether it be borders or anything under the sun. Democrats just take up one issue, Project 2025. They were trying to explain a whole set of things that were largely, in some cases, negatives. There has been a big debate in the Democratic Party. Some people are saying the Democrats weren't talking about basic issues. I disagree with that. I think Joe Biden did all the time. Certainly Vice President Harris did. But how you do that communication, how you make that clarity, and how you let people know health care will be more available for you, food prices will go down, I think that message was missing.
Yeah. Well, there has been a lot of blame and finger-pointing, coulda, woulda, shoulda, all of that stuff. What had happened was, and I know you campaigned for the Harris-Walz ticket, what do you think that the Democrats need to do to get back on message at this point?
You know, I think there is always an issue of messengers. How are you sharing them, and in what places are you sharing them? It can't just be a one campaign thing. It has to be all the time, and it has to actually be also outside of the swing states. I think that when you look at your national narratives and messaging, you saw a tight race out of states like New Jersey this time around and others. And although they weren't necessarily competitive, if you have this narrative of one side cares, one side is listening and talking about the basic issues you care about, and the other side is debating everything under the sun, then I think you're going to miss it. And I think the other thing that we saw is kitchen table issues matter a lot to people. Yeah. You want to feed your kids. You want to make sure you're taking care of those basics, not debating every culture war issue around.
So let's talk about this stadium. Built during your first term.
Yes.
It's a beautiful stadium. I guess you're just done, right? You're hanging back now.
Checking out, man.
Yeah, behold. I mean, a lot of excitement here. Is your city ready for what's going to go down tomorrow night here?
You know, I think we are. I think that when you look at the energy already at the airport, they're selling the gear for the National Women's Soccer League. You're seeing a lot of activity and excitement, and it is just a little chilly today, and we still got people out smiling.
People still coming, though.
And they are still enthused.
They're piling in. There was a wait at the restaurant last night. I was like, okay, wow.
Now, it is exciting, and so Kansas City has been vibing for this and feeling this for some time. When we heard about the announcement, we knew we'd put our best foot forward, and I think you're seeing that now.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, this is all the result of it being privately funded. And how important is it for that to be the case when building a stadium like this in a city that needed it?
Well, you're going to get me in trouble with my football team and my baseball team, but, you know, I think there is something very clear to say of what good private investment can do.
No doubt.
In an era when the NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, a lot of those teams are saying we need $1 billion, $2 billion. Chicago, they're talking a $4 billion stadium. LA is a $6 billion. You see what private ownership groups can do. And with a good public-private partnership where basically we just helped on the infrastructure, the thing that cities do, you can have great venues like this. Ultimately, there has to be a talk in professional sports about this being the model rather than the alternative.
Spot on.
And they're talking about relocating possibly the stadium. How are you feeling about that? Maybe in Kansas City, maybe in Kansas or another section of Kansas City. How are you feeling about that? A, do you think that's a real talk? And how do you feel about it?
You know, I think the Chiefs will be playing in Kansas City, the original one, for generations ahead. I think.
Why do you think that?
Why do I think that?
Yeah, because other people feel differently.
You have been to Arrowhead Stadium.
Yes, I have.
You've seen the experience and the vibe. I've seen games at Lambeau Field and other places. Arrowhead Stadium is one of those special places in America to watch a football game. And I will also say, compared to a lot of newer facilities, it's still one of the best.
Do you think the Royals might go over the river?
Now, the Royals are more interesting.
Bobby Witt Jr. is going to be playing in a different state?
Well, I think that the Royals want to be downtown. The Royals want to be in the core of the city. They're looking at spots there rather than building a park out in greenfield space or something like that.
So your term is up in 2027?
Yes, sir.
What are you doing in 2028?
Well, 2028, I know there are a lot of elections going around. I love public service.
I'm just saying.
I love my public service, but, I think we'll see. But I'll probably continue to have an impact in some way.
Okay.
And be part of that messaging I want to make better one day.
Well, you've
got a
got two
young son
daughters
home,
and you
yeah.
had a young son. Quinton is his name.
Quinton is-
Congrats.
I figured I had to be like a politician and have a son named after me.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor Quinton Lucas, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you sincerely.